Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're all doing great. All praise be to the Most High. So I've kind of been thinking a lot today. Just been going over my head is just about being a healer, right? And one of the hard parts about being a healer is the majority of the time you have no idea when you're actually healing people because the healing comes in the form of triggering people, which could come from just a normal conversation, right? You have no idea what's going to trigger something inside of someone, and then you can't always tell that you don't know what's going through their head. You don't know, you know what I mean, what you triggered in them. But one thing I've learned is not to give advice unless asked for it, because which is hard sometimes to hold it back. But I've learned pretty much 100% of the time, even when people ask for the advice, they don't want it because they want to hear it, but they don't want to take action upon it because even internally, when you know the advice you're hearing, it's right. This is what I have to do. When it comes down to doing it, yeah, it's a lot harder to do it than just to think about doing it, and because a lot of it's tough, and a lot of people they're not really ready to do the work. Which when I talk about doing the work, well, that's doing the work. When people trigger us, it's to show us things that is to bring up those emotions. The emotions are brought up to highlight what we need to work on, what we need to fix, what we still haven't healed from. Um, but so this guy approached me the other day, right? He approached me the other day about this problem he was having. Going through headaches, juggling two women. Who would have thought? But asked me for advice, and it's like, all right, you're gonna ask for it, I'll give it to you. But my advice, I don't tell people what they want to hear. I tell them what they need to hear, and a lot of times 2 o'clock on the timer. But what they need to hear isn't what they want to hear, and so a lot of people get upset. But it's like, well, you fucking asked. But I told him what he had to do. He had to cut one of them off, and he already knew which one. He already knew which one, and he already knew, but he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. But then complain about when your stomach gets sick from eating too much of it or whatever. It's dude, you know what you got to do. So if you're not gonna do it, then stop fucking complaining about it. I don't want to hear about it. But I'm used to people not taking the advice. I'm kind of used to that just because yeah, my advice is good advice, but it doesn't come easy. But yeah, he approached me today and he said he cut one of them off, and he was happy, and he's like, he said he's been a lot clearer in the head and this and that, and he thanked me, which is it's rare that one people actually take you up on it, and two that they'll come back and acknowledge it because sometimes they won't always they don't they'll want to ask for the advice but they don't want to give which whatever I don't need credit, you know what I mean. I don't need to hear that thank you. But it's nice to know that someone heeded the advice and actually took it, and hey, imagine that it's helpful. um, but it's hard when people don't ask for it, when you're just having conversation, right? When you're just having conversation because we're just having conversation. But I'll bring up my experience of what I went through and how I had to deal with it, or not how I had to, how I saw fit to, and how I chose to, because we all have choices, right? But sometimes it triggers people, and you don't always know you're doing it, and then people they don't speak up about it, they bite their tongue, and it goes, I don't know I triggered you because I thought it was just a normal conversation, I'm just speaking. um, but healers bring healing, but healing is painful, and so healers are hated and loved. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see what the ancestors have to say about this. All right, ancestors, any wisdom? Any wisdom? It's unwise to give advice when not asked. You know, it's tough too though, because people want to vent and vent and vent, right? But people just want to vent to get it off their chest. People want to vent to get it off their chest, not to ask for advice, not to actually change anything, just because they feel better about walloping and the ooh, oh, this sucks, woe is me, ooh, I shot myself in the fucking foot, ew, it hurts, ow, I'm bleeding, ow, ow, feel bad for me, ow, I shot myself again because I don't learn my fucking lessons, ow, ow, ow. How many people fucking do that? All the fucking time. All the fucking time. All the time. You know, the attention-seeking horse. A lot of us, without even realizing it. But that's what you're doing. You're just attention-seeking whore. You're fucking out there just, you don't want to change anything. You just want to wallop in the woe is me. It's the attention you're getting off of that. Or maybe you just like living in a mental hell. Maybe you just like living in sorrow. Maybe you just like living in misery. I don't. I try to choose not to. I choose not to. But a lot of people are unaware. A lot of people, they even people, sometimes people can recognize that they keep coming into the same patterns. They keep coming into the same situations. It's just a different face, but the lesson's still the same because we didn't learn it. Unless we learn the lesson, we're bound to repeat it. But a lot of times we're unaware what the lesson is. And if we're unaware of it, then we keep repeating it. And it's like we know what triggers it. It's these type of people. It's this situation. It's this. It's that. But we haven't healed from it. We haven't adjusted. We haven't corrected it. We keep allowing it back. Sometimes it's simply by not allowing it to come back into your life. Sometimes it's simply by cutting the cord and then shutting the door and leaving that motherfucker, sealing that motherfucker up. So and then you're gonna hear him knocking on the door. You're gonna hear him trying to shake the handle, trying to open it, but don't do it. You gotta leave it sealed. Or like in Modern Warfare and zombies, right? When you're building up, the zombies come, they break down the windows, they break down the doors, and you got to be going around and you pop a couple in the head, and then you got to build it back up and shit, right? It's constantly repairing your walls, building your wall back up, because people are always going to be coming, they're always going to be smashing on your door, they're always going to be crashing through it. But we need to protect it. You know what I mean? We need to protect our energy. We need to keep rebuilding those walls, repairing those doors. That's it's not allowing it by not allowing it back in. You're telling the universe, I learned my lesson. It's like, hey, I learned this one. No, and it's like, all right, are you sure about that? You're gonna keep getting tested. Are you sure? Are you sure you learned your lesson? The universe is gonna test you until you make it abundantly clear. I'm done. Move on. Can we move on to the next yet, please? Thank you. Forbidden. When you do certain levels of healing, when you when you go through those trials, those trials, that's what they are, the test of trials. When you go through 833, when you go through those really hard ones, and you make it through, and you give God thanks for bringing me through this, for showing me another day, for getting me through this. Thank you. When you're giving thanks to the Most High for that, right? You give thanks, and then the universe is going to test you. Are you sure you learned your lesson? It's the going backwards. It's I don't know what that came to my mind when I saw the card. So it's relevant to that. I'm kind of, but it's not. I don't want to say it's forbidden to go back because it doesn't feel right to say that. But it should be forbidden to go back. We should be not allowing ourselves to not go back because we when we don't learn our lessons, we tell the universe we want more of it. I didn't really mean it. That's why you need to make it, abundantly clear that I've learned this test, I've passed this test, I've learned my lesson. I'm ready to go forward and not backwards from this. I'm ready to go forward and not backwards from this. I'm going to end that there. Forward and not backwards. But, everything comes back full circle. But, what I was talking to my buddy about, He said he felt like it took a giant step forward, and yes, that's great. But it's the you got to have the understanding of, always try to move forward, 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 right? But sometimes we take little steps back, right? But it's okay. We got to have grace on ourselves, and it's okay. It's not the end of the world. As long as we're continually making more steps forward than backwards, then we're heading in the right direction.